Well, help, I'm tired. And he's about to get more tired. Little baby Ian is coming up. He's in a van right now with my wife. Just picked him up from the hospital. His final day today. And he was born on the 7th. Stayed in the NICU at the hospital for 13 days. Wink. And he's free. He is a free baby man. So Ashley got to see him first. The kids had the twins had a homeschool thing they had to do outside of the house. And so I was like, well, Ashley can come to me to the hospital and you'll be the first to see baby Ian. So, if you can't tell from the sounds of sirens right now, we're by a hospital. But, so, me and, I think I've slightly mentioned this a little bit. I can see the ambulance coming now. Let me just pause this old girl. That's a little better. So, I'm feeling a little sick lately in my throat. Just not a sore throat, but like that feeling when it's right about, oh, I think I'm getting a sore throat. I feel a little tickle in there when I swallow. But it's gotten no worse, and this is, I think, the third day now. Tuesday, yeah, or maybe it started 2 days ago. So yeah, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. But me and the boys, JC and Dave, we've been having a little chat, and I think it's gonna get serious. All-inclusive spiritual adventure with Jsnip, Jean-Claude, and Dave. And I think it's gonna happen. Like I said, my mom, she's like, 2020, you know, it's gonna be a real good year for you. Things will be discovered. Secrets will come out. Not, you know, just generally. She goes, this is the year. And made me think of Cliff High. Secrets revealed. And not only that, Cliff High, hey Joe, years ago, like 2015 or 16. Hey Joe, you're in the Webbot report again. Huh? He goes, don't worry, it's not bad this time. It's a good thing. Because one time he said he was picking up data on me. He goes, man, I'm picking up that you're gonna have like a kind of a near accident or like a near miss at work, like a workplace accident, like a near miss. And I don't have much else. That's all I know. I'm like, that's it? He goes, yeah, that's all I got. And it's about me for sure. He goes, well, yeah, the way I pull data, it's you. Okay. A few weeks later, almost had a damn power supply burn up my foot. Inches away, sparks shooting out of this thing, almost got me, almost nailed me. And I've never seen one of these power supplies in a computer do that, by the way. They usually just go up in smoke, or they just quit. Usually they just quit. But this one just like, I was like, what the hell? Almost shocked my foot, moved my foot out of the way. And then I was like, oh my God. It almost got me, but it didn't. Near workplace incident, near miss. Holy crap. So I did a video on it. I think my video is probably still online somewhere on YouTube. So there was something else he had told me too, that I was in the Webbot, and I think that already happened. And then there was a third one. And he's like, yeah, it's not another bad, you know, miss workplace accident thing. He goes, this one, he goes, what I'm picking up is Enterprise Joe, is what the meme is of this. Enterprise Joe. And he says, I don't know exactly the details, but man, universe likes you, man. Universe really likes you, man. You're gonna be doing some stuff in 2020, or maybe it starts around 2020. But yeah, man, universe likes you a lot. Enterprise Joe. Okay. Of course, I've got Patreon. That's my own thing. Had my day job, which is pretty much ending here. So I do have YouTube, which I've always had. You know, 2 different avenues, if you will, although YouTube pays crap because of the bullshit we have to deal with on YouTube and the constant shadow banning, and that video's not monetized friendly. Oh, advertiser friendly. Oh, yeah, it is. Click it again. The title of the video was, my son was born tonight. My son Ian wife gave birth tonight. You're going to tell me your algorithm, your super secret algorithm picked up a bad word or some phrase I used describing my wife. She gave birth to our son. His name's Ian, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, this video is not advertiser friendly. I didn't show the birth. I just talked about it. Anyways. So as I mentioned a few days ago, I think, maybe it was a week ago, I'm feeling that shift. I'm taking a 90-degree turn or a 180 or something. A different path in life, so to speak. Different adventure in life, I guess. And that adventure is what I'm already doing out there in the Southwest. And I can tell you the state, by the way. New Mexico. Because it's going to be listed on our website that I'm in the process of putting up for this adventure. It's like a spiritual adventure. And because there's a bit of both, you know. And out of the 4 times we've been there, when you go in to the state, there's signs, you know, welcome to the land of enchantment. Oh, okay, that's cute. Yeah, that's real cute. Let's keep going. And then you get there, you experience those mountains, you experience the stuff, and you're like, okay, that was interesting. Why did we meet up with some Indian people? They don't know us. Why were they inviting us to do ceremony? I don't know. What happened when me, JC, Dave, and JC's girlfriend, Sarah, went to our main site, because we feel it is a very sacred site in the past that Cher Michelle pretty much has told us. And we did a little ceremony there and had 2 amazing things happen right before our ears and eyes. Very spiritual encounter. And then I, with my wife only, about 2 weeks later, I took her up there, and that's when I had my spiritual encounter that was just for me and my wife. Apparently it was just for us. And it scared us at first, because this was a lot different than the other one I'm telling you about with JC and Dave and Sarah. This would have probably scared anybody, honestly. So that happened there. We go hiking in other areas over there just to view the place, not necessarily to search for anything. And every time we go there, we come back a little different in a positive way. Things that, used to be an angrier person. I'm not angry. I'm laid back. Oh, I used to be this. I'm not that anymore. Maybe you had a habit. Oh, I kicked my habit. Just stuff. Just an amazing place. So we realized we kind of have a routine where we do these things, and a couple times people have come with us and like, whoa. Hang on a second. All right, so I got the kids in the car, and we're heading home for them to see baby Ian, little brother. Yay. We're all excited. Ashley was excited. Everybody's excited, and now I can finally hold him and squish his little cheeks and cuddle him and all that good stuff. So, anyways, every time we go out there, it's just like something happens in some kind of way, or someone's brought to us, drawn to us. We help them in some way. It's just interesting, And one of the persons that we just met on the September trip, not the November one, but I believe it was September, when I couldn't do much, my knee was all messed up from running myself over in the Jeep. We met this lady named Tanya Maya, who somehow, we're eating at this restaurant we always eat at. It's a very small town, by the way, very small population, and this lady's looking at me, and she's like, you're that guy, you're on YouTube, right? I'm like, she goes, Jsnip? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is the second time somebody has recognized me in the public like that, and in the same town. In the middle of nowhere, New Mexico, small town. I live in I work in Brandon, Florida. I live, Tampa-ish. And I've had one person's kids see me in Chuck E. Cheese one time, and their grandparents took them there, and the kids actually recognized me because their parents watched me, and they told their parents, I think I saw that guy. And they asked me, were you there? I was like, yeah, actually, your kids are right. I was there. And that was a number of years ago. So that was it. Like, so I go back to this small town. We meet this guy, Ron, the first time. And we're like in this little restaurant. There's nowhere to sit except for this guy's got a table that seats 4. And there's one person, him, sitting there, and he's just looking over at us like, hey, well, there's 3 of you guys. Hey, do you guys want to, I don't mind, you want to sit with me? And we're like, yeah, cool, sure. And he's staring at me. As I start walking up, he gives me this stare. And it was not the Care Bear stare, but it was a stare. And he goes, are you that Jsnip guy, YouTube guy? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, well, okay, yeah, I thought that was you. He's like, so I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, 2 times? The same little town in the middle of nowhere? Come on. So here we go again. This lady, and we talked to her briefly, and she does these like intuitive massages, I guess. Like she had a little business card where she just, I guess, can kind of figure out where you need healing, and or maybe she'll tell you something while she's, I guess, massaging you or whatever. So I had called her one night. We were chatting, and we like, you know what, why don't you come over to this house that we're at, and you know, we'll pay you for you know, a little quick massage or something. You know, I don't want to just call someone over if they're trying to solicit their business for nothing, you know. And I'm like, what the hell? We've been working on this, you know, all walking. My knees are all hurt, whatever. But what the heck? I mainly just want to talk to her. So we brought her in, and she was able to. The money we gave her for doing her, you know, work, she was able to get something done to her. She had an old Bronco, I think, that needed something, tires. Things that needed tires. She's like, oh, thank you guys. You just helped me buy these tires I needed so bad. We're like, yeah, see, you know, perfect. You know, just works out. So anyways, I told her a little bit of my story. I didn't tell her the whole main story, which I haven't told you guys either. The whole big spiritual thing and everything that happened there. I mean, all of it, really. And I told her a little bit. So we stayed in contact a bit. So a few days ago, she reached out to me just out of nowhere. And I guess before I get into it, let me just tell you ultimately what's coming. We're building a website. We're going to offer a spiritual retreat / vacation adventure kind of a thing. Me, JC, and Dave. So there would be a fee, but it would be an all-inclusive fee. And it would be a 5-day, 4-night, I guess, trip. And we would take you to some of these spots. Now, I'm not telling you you're going treasure hunting with me, but one of these spots, there's a story there related. And we would be going there, but not to do any of that work. Just, it'd be more or less a nice day hike. Let's have lunch up there, maybe do a little meditation or something, or just, if you don't want, you know, just sit up there and eat lunch. It's an unbelievable view anyways. You know, just that kind of thing. That's one of the trips for one of the days. We're going to go in the hot springs a couple times. Natural hot water coming out of the earth. They fill up these little like jacuzzi things, even though it's the earth's water. You know, it's not like they're recycling their own water, and just flows right out into the river right there. And it's always about 100, 102, 103 degrees, so it's like perfectly, you know, temperature's perfect, and it's absolutely just filled with minerals. Every time I go in there, like when you're away for a while and you go back in there that first time, you get out, you're like, oh my God, I'm like, this is way more refreshing than just being like, you know, in some jacuzzi at some, you know, jabroni's back out, you know, yard in their house. And, you know, like my own, it's not the same. So that's going to be part of it. We're going to go on some to some other areas. There's this one park located inside of a national forest that has these dwellings, like ancient dwellings, where they would, you know, carve little spaces out of the side of the mountain, and they'd have multiple ones. Some of them you can kind of easily climb up to, like, I mean, really easy. You know, a couple steps up and you're in one of them. Some of them are quite high. We're not going to even attempt those. There's no point. But the site, everything there is beautiful. And again, another magical place. And stuff like that, basically. So we're going to do a couple little things at the house as well. You know, JC will probably do most of that at the house. But we're putting a little package together. All you'd be responsible for is your plane ticket. We'd pick you up. We'd have 3 trucks rented to take 3 groups of 3 or 4 people per truck up to these places. And I think that's what the calling is right now. And that's why I'm telling you, like, I'm meeting this person, meeting that person. So that lady, Tanya Maya, and by the way, I'll have the site up probably ready to go in about a week and a half. My Patreon members get the first dibs on this and a slight discount too. You know, they've been supporting me for a while, so I've already talked to them briefly on a post just to let them know, hey, this is coming, and how many of you would be interested. Just curious. A whole lot of people would be interested later in the year because we weren't sure like when we might do this for sure. April to May, maybe September, October, November. So I'm just kind of feeling it. A lot of people seem to like the latter part of the year better, but there was still enough interest for the earlier time frame, maybe end of April, that we may actually pull one off here for them, those that want to come on the Patreon. And if there's any slots available for that one, I would just offer it to anybody else on YouTube or whatever. But again, I always want to give them the first priority on Patreon. So this lady, Maya, tells me about this guy she knows. He's part Indian, and he lives in New Mexico, about 2 hours from where we are, and just thought, she had mentioned a little bit of what we were doing. He was interested. He had a story to tell her. She told us and said, yeah, you can call him if you want. He said you can call. I said, oh, all right, I think I should actually. So I'm compelled to tell him my whole entire story, and like the whole story that I don't normally tell people. And he was very interested and thankful for me just sharing it, and was fascinated by it. And I meant to tell him one part of the story because he had mentioned something as I was speaking to him. He goes, oh, dormant DNA. And I'm like, DNA, huh? I got a part of the story to tell you that relates directly of something taking a sample of my DNA out there. Very spiritual thing that I think happened on accident, if you will. But I forgot to tell him that specific part later on. So the next day, which was actually today or yesterday, I said, man, I wonder if I should just call him back real quick to say, man, remember that part? You mentioned the dormant DNA, and I meant to tell you something, I forgot. Well, this is what it is. It took me 10 seconds to tell you. But I was like, well, do I really want to call him back for that? I've only talked to him one time. And it was a long conversation, mostly me telling him the whole story. And, I don't know. So then it happens the next day. I go downstairs to get a drink. I go back upstairs to my room, and I have a missed call. And while I was down there getting a drink, I was thinking again, man, I think I should call him. I probably should call him. Yeah, should I really? Maybe I will. Yeah, I guess I could. Today, tomorrow, I don't know. I go upstairs, missed call. Guess who it is? It's him. Hey, Joe from Florida. I thought I saw another Florida number calling me. I didn't know if it was you or not. Maybe not. So, okay, never mind. Left a message. I'm like, nah, I'm going to go ahead and return the call. So I call him back and tell him, man, I was just downstairs thinking about you. And you were probably calling me while I was thinking about you because I didn't hear my phone up here in this, in my room. It was like 7 minutes ago. Another interesting number of ours. And so we just start talking again. He starts to tell me some private details about himself, his past, when he was younger, and just stuff, personal stuff. I'm like, he's kind of opening up to me. The second time I called him, I wasn't planning on this, but this is the kind of thing that happens when me, JC, and Dave encounter people out there in the wild, so to speak, as we're passing through towns or whatever. They're just like attracted to us, and someone's getting healed, someone's getting, some kind of something they needed. It's just interesting, man. That's what I'm telling you. Every time we go out there, just something going on. But he mentions this lady that he encountered when he kind of got awakened spiritually, thanks to her, I think, partially. And as he's telling me her name, and I'm just hearing him talk, I'm like, I'm getting that feeling, man. Getting that feeling. Is this lady, like, if I search for her online, do you think I'll be able to find her? Or he goes, well, I've got her number in my Rolodex. She's, she knows me. She, I told you the story, and there's some sacred water involved in this story that he was led to, and very important. And anyway, so he's sharing these stories. And I'm like, okay, when I hang up, I think I said, I found one entry on her online, and it has her phone number. I think I'm gonna call her. He goes, yeah, go for it. So I ended up calling her briefly last night, and she said, yeah, I'm in the care of someone else in very desperate need. They're in hospice, and my time is extremely limited, but how did you get my number? And I said, well, I know this guy so-and-so. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard from him in a while. Oh gosh. And I'm like, yeah. I said, well, I feel like I'm being nudged by like universe, to reach out to you. I don't know the reason yet, but like most things, I think we'll find out soon enough. Maybe I could just tell you this kind of story, this journey I'm on, and maybe that'll be something, you know, I don't know. She goes, okay, how about we talk tomorrow at 10 a.m. So that was today, 10 a.m. And the video that I was doing about the criminal, you know, Virginia governor crap, right when the phone rang at the end, I said, I got to go. It was her actually calling me. And so we had this conversation. And she said right off the bat, she goes, you know, I'd love to hear your story. She goes, but I'm right now, I don't have a lot of time to focus on anything. My friend's in, you know, bad shape, basically, and I think her last days are here shortly, you know, so I respect that. And my story is going to take probably 45 minutes to tell the damn thing, like, fully. So she's like, yeah, can you maybe consolidate that down to maybe the more, you know, the more important stuff you need to tell me? She goes, and I'm not doing that out of disrespect. I'm like, oh, no, I understand. So I just gave her what I felt like I needed to say quickly, you know, skipping stuff and telling her stuff. And she channels stuff, entities, if you will. She talks about ancient stuff, and again, the earth changing and things I think she would agree are about to be discovered, and history is about to come out, and all kinds of stuff. So I just started telling her my story, and she's like, okay, hold on a second. I think I'm going to need to do a reading with you, like an intuitive reading. She gave it some other name. And she goes, I typically do two kinds. Like, if, you know, people who know me, I'll do a reading for you. Yes, and I usually charge basically like a love donation kind of a thing. But then there's these other ones in which the ancestors are talking to me, that information may need to be given. That's a whole separate type of a thing. And as you're talking to me right now, that's what I'm getting. Hang on a second. And so I'm like, okay, I wait. I'm on the phone. She's on the phone. So I'm waiting, 5 or 10 seconds. And she goes, okay, this is not something that I'm to charge or to accept any money from you. They're telling me that, no, this needs to be, I need to do a session with you. And it's not the personal friend one, it's the other one. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. I said, but listen, I still feel like can I still give you something? Because I know you're taking care of your friend. Can we, some of your expense, maybe it'll help with that. And she goes, well, I don't know. I'm being told that not to charge. I said, well, you're not. Maybe I just want to give, So she said, well, how does Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of next week sound? And I said, well, honestly, any would work for me now. And you just tell me. She goes, all right, how about, I think 10 something or 10:30 Monday. And I said, okay, that sounds good to me. So as I told her, again, as I said a few things that we were doing, I didn't get to even kind of tell the whole story. I maybe spoke for 5 minutes. Keep that in mind. 5 minutes when I normally would probably take, honestly, because I don't want to miss anything, 45 minutes to tell the story. And I'm not pausing and slow talking, like I'm trying to get it out. And it's like 45 minutes. So in about 5, maybe 10 minutes, she already heard enough and was like, okay, stop. I got it. As you're speaking, I know it has to happen. I'm already hearing it. So one of the things I had mentioned is, this mission that we're on. We think something's there. We're going to find it. We're going to help the Indian tribes and other people that need the help financially when we find whatever's in this mountain. And we think it's possible that there might be some surprises in that mountain, or maybe a nearby mountain, somewhere over there. In that, oh, you guys thought you were here for this, not even the spiritual stuff, but oh yeah, keep looking. Guess what? There's another cavern. Guess what's in there? Oh, you found another cavern. Guess what's in there? And it may be different stuff from different time periods that is super important, super ancient, and super, historically speaking, important. History, maybe documents, maybe I don't know what, honestly. And she was getting stuff like, yeah, we need to talk. So that's just more confirmation to me that I'm getting nudged, and I recognize it right away now. Oh, I know what that is. I don't need to wait for the third punch in the face. I know right away. I need to call that guy. Oh, guess what? He put me in contact with this lady. Bingo. Got it. And they're all out in New Mexico too, by the way. So I can't wait to see what happens Monday. Honestly, what she tells me. She's going to record it and just send me a link afterwards that I can download it off the internet. And I'll be interested to see what she says or what she has to offer me advice-wise about this whole thing. But she also said she picked up on that. Yes, this is a sacred place. Like, it didn't used to be. It still is. Even though no one's there anymore, this is a sacred place you guys are at, up in those mountains. And she said, I'm getting the I don't know if she used the word proper, but like the right way or the proper way to, when you come to the mountain and you're doing whatever you're doing, an offering, a certain prayer, a certain respect or acknowledgement of the ancestor, kind of like Indian type stuff, like they would do. She was picking up on some of that. She goes, I think I can, she goes, the ancestors are, I can give you some guidance. I know that much. And I thought, okay. And that may be all this ends up being, is her giving us guidance on the spiritual side of, when you're there, here's how to do this. Like, before you do anything, say this, or do the offering of that, or, do this. And that's it. And I say that's it, meaning that's all the information she provided. However, that could be huge for us in the spiritual sense. We're respecting the stuff out there and, being guided to do so. But what if she tells me something else? Like Fred the Indian. Oh, you're going to find what you're looking for. Oh, and it might be this. And I see that. And, it could turn into that, which would be pretty fascinating too. I'd love to hear some of that. I'd love to hear that kind of stuff. But not to say that the initial information's bad or downplayed. That could be just as powerful or better. Knowing that, hey, these entities are here helping and guiding you, but you guys are kind of jabroniing part of the process. Like, when you get there, you should probably do this first, and maybe. And again, I'll respect whatever's these ancestors tell me. But it's stuff like this that keeps happening and keeps pushing us to say, there's a lot going on out there. And like, I could spend a whole lifetime in the different mountain areas of New Mexico alone, much less Arizona, Texas. We got sites there too. Both of those places, mainly Arizona. But I just feel like this is a calling right now. Enterprise Joe, what Cliff High said, let's do an all-inclusive vacation package. Yes, it's going to cost money, but not any, certainly less than most cruises, I would say. Most 5-day cruises, it will be less than that. Some spiritual retreat centers we've looked at up online, some are more than us, some were less than us, some were around the same price as us. But we're different than all those other ones. A lot of those other ones, you're pretty much just going to some area, they're doing work with you spiritually, and that's it. Like, we're going to do some of that, but we're going to also go places. We're going to take you up on this mountain. We drive most of the way, get out at the top, and then hike a half mile. It's not a big hike. If you don't want to hike, stay back at the vehicles. It's a perfect area to sit and just chill and enjoy the view. You don't have to hike if you're not capable. That's the only real hike is that one spot. The other place by the park, you can pretty much drive there to these little caverns or these little dwellings and scope it out. It's a magical place, peace and quiet, way far away from city, electricity. Like, you're out there, and some places your phone don't work, some places it does, but you're not plugging into anything. Like, you better have plenty of gas, which we do, and roll with it. So we would rent 3 trucks. Each of us could carry 3 to 4 passengers, and that would be it for one trip. 5-day trip, 5 days, 4 nights. I will do another video, again, publicly on YouTube, after I for sure invite the Patreon members and give them at least maybe several days, maybe a week, to sign up or not. And if there's extra spaces, well, sure, I'll do the the YouTube video. But we were actually thinking of doing not just one of these getaways or whatever while we're there at the end of April, but maybe 2, since we're there. It's like, well, if enough people wanted to come, Patreon or not, public or not, whatever, doesn't matter. We would do like a 1 week and then a week off for us to hang out and do our thing at our locations, and then another week back on. And it's really 5 days, not a week. So it's 5 days. The first trip, 5 days for me, JC, and Dave to do our thing by ourselves, and then 5 days the next group of people, kind of a thing. We were thinking about doing that, so we'll see how this goes. I'm just curious, if you're not in my Patreon, therefore you don't know I was doing this, like to this extent, and you tell yourself, oh my God, I think I would do that, I'd like to hear your comment about it. If you're already in my Patreon, then don't comment, because I'm going to count that as a second one of you, and I shouldn't, since you've already commented in Patreon. The price point, again, it'll be a little discount for Patreon, so we're thinking $3,200 to $3,500 per person. Again, all inclusive. Lodging is, we pay for it. We're gonna actually put you guys up at a hotel, paid in full. The only thing you need is your plane ticket. That's all you're paying for. We're gonna pick you up at the airport. We of course have the transportation. It's a small town. I mean, if you wanted to rent your own car for some reason, I guess I'd say you could, but if you do that, where are you gonna be going? You're gonna be pretty busy with us the whole time. It wouldn't make sense, honestly. So. Food, we got food covered, we got everything covered. The hot springs fees, we got all that covered too. And then of course our time, knowledge, experience, whatever that each of us brings, that's obviously part of the package. And you'll be able to rotate, like maybe on day one, you know, whatever groups with me doing the stuff we're gonna do, that's fine. We can chit chat about anything while we're driving, all that good stuff, you know, cryptos or whatever you want to talk about, other things, maybe some treasure stories, I don't know. And then, you know, maybe the way back down from wherever we're going, we can switch drivers, or, you know, and then I'm with another group of people, that kind of thing. So we're, you know, that way everyone gets a piece of all of us, because each of us have something the other person doesn't offer or doesn't have. You know, I have my qualities, Jean-Claude has his, Dave has his, so it's a good thing to just chit chat about stuff that, you know, each of us can kind of bring to the table. And while we're driving an hour this way or 2 hours that way to get to some of these places, you know, it's a good time to chat with everybody and that kind of thing. So anyways, with the pricing in mind, and again, because it got to make sense for us too, we got, you know, there has to be a little profit there for us too, and you know, for this to make sense, because I may consider doing something like this as a business, like all of us, we were talking about, like this could be something big as people want to learn more about this and this big spiritual awakening that's coming. Like, universe is telling us, go for it. So again, if you have heard this from the first time from me, you're not in my Patreon and you haven't commented yet, and you think, yeah, Joe, I'd go at the end of April or the first week of May of this year, write down in the comments. I'm curious to know. Again, I'm just trying to get a feel for this. My mom gave me a reading, I think yesterday, or early yesterday, I think, and I just asked, and one of the things she told me is, she's like, you know, I see something else coming to you like this year. Like, you're either going to start a business, or like maybe you might invest in a business or a company that's, I don't know, a partner with somebody, or maybe you're going to invest in the company, or you're just going to kind of do your own. Like, another thing, I see your YouTube, I see the stuff you're doing, but that's going to stay, but I see something else coming on. And she goes, I think it's going to be like wildly successful. She goes, let me just give you an example. And this is just an example. She goes, let's say you want to start like your own car dealership, buying used cars, you get them real good cheap, and you're able to sell them to cheaper people, so you got a lot of good clientele, they're happy with your prices, you're making money, they're getting a cheaper car, you're buying them cheap. Like, it just worked way better than you thought, and at the end of the year, oh my God, I made $1 million for the company already? Like, you didn't even know it. She goes, no, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but she goes, I'm just trying to tell you the point of whatever this thing is I see you getting involved with. It's just, I feel like it's going to be really successful. So whatever you end up trying to do, it's going to work. And I thought, Mom, I think I already know what this is. I just had a conversation with my buddies last night. She goes, no, don't tell me. I don't want to know. All right, well, give me, you know, she finished the reading. And I never did tell her. But that was what I'm telling you right now. We had this very serious discussion that I think we want to do this a few times a year. We're going out there a few times a year anyways. What's the addition of adding like an additional 5 days or whatever on each of these trips? So that's what we're talking about. So I'll do another video with an official, hey, if you're interested in signing up publicly, you know, YouTube, here's the link, and there's, you know, 12 slots for the first week of May or whatever it is, you know, this date, this time frame. You know, you'll have to give a deposit, obviously, and lock it in. The website will handle it all, booking, all that stuff. So I'm in the process of setting the website up. JC's helping, Dave's helping. We're trying to roll this out because we all feel spiritually like, yes, you guys need to do this, and if you build it, they will come, like the old movie. So we're just about home. I hear my kids all excited. They can barely contain themselves from me. So I will shut up now and let you guys go.